while others are happy to catch a fish. These people have caught the crocodile to eat. It takes 3 people to pick him up. High-end ingredients require minimal cooking. You don't need any seasoning. Just put it on the fire and cook it. It's delicious enough. Bite into it, and your mouth is full of grease. Didn't know I'd sign up now. You can still eat this delicious. The challenge is only 4 days old. Kayla's teammates have all gone home. You have to face the difficulties alone. It's hard enough just collecting firewood. They had to make a fire to boil the water. The worst is when it rains. The shelter is leaking everywhere. There's nothing I can do about it. Just hold yourself close to the fire for warmth, just long enough to catch up with the other contestants, I hope. I had a hard time waiting for the rain to stop. See how the other teams did. Mallory had a really bad night. Everyone huddled close to the fire to keep them warm. Who knows what's going to happen next? We're 31 miles from the extraction point. Although everyone has been naked for 21 days, but the environment here is more difficult. Some food is urgently needed for energy. We have to find a way to repel the mosquitoes. Without enough sleep, the body will break down sooner or later. Like Chris had a tick on his leg. Any wound in here could get infected. I had to let the cave sister burn the worm. Fortunately, it didn't get into the flesh. Chris is too tortured to say anything. Don't know what to do next. As much as I'd like to lie there all day, but you have to suck it up and do it. The team next door is busy working, although the body is a little tired. But everyone seems to be in good spirits. 34 miles to the extraction point. With the food you've been getting, people are still talking and laughing, trying to feed all 3. It's not enough for small fish. Must try to hunt a crocodile to eat, so they have enough strength to hike. Adam was already preparing the spear. He can't wait for alligator meat. While the team morale is still good, continue to expand the advantages of wilderness survival. Sam doesn't want to lie around waiting for food. He has to take the initiative to explore the unknown environment. Strive for more food sources. From the looks of it, the gators are in for a win. Too bad I saw water all the way. The way the sun was about to set. We need to get to the swamp faster, and a simple shelter for the night. The hunting power of this group is quite strong. Just a little bit of luck missing the kill. There was a talk of walking naked in the grass. It's really easy to cut a wound. Sam's leading the way, and it's hard as hell. There was a sudden scream. Unlucky Sam's got a wasp looking at his eggs. He swallowed his pain and ran away from here. I hope the guys down there aren't hurt. Now Sam really wants to burn this place down. Fortunately, he led the way, and the 2 men behind him avoided injury. If there's another time, he really doesn't want to be the leader. Kayla went out into the wilderness alone in search of food. So far, we can only use small animals as bait. I hope we catch a big fish. It's hard to walk the rest of the way alone. She has to find another team to join, or you'll be out of the game sooner or later. Fishing is harder than I thought. Put in all the bait lines. I hope I see something to eat when I come by tomorrow. Now get a termite mound and put it in the water. In theory, it should attract a lot of fish. She didn't have much faith in it either. We just have to take it one step at a time. The Adam group is on its way again in search of food. Their main goal is to catch a crocodile. Dehydration is the biggest concern when traveling in hot temperatures. Adam doesn't want to go through that again. Good thing there's some shade up ahead. Let your body cool down and see if there's any water in there. It took a while, but I finally saw the river. This side looks more resource-rich. The first task now is to build a fire and boil water. You need a lot of dry material to do that. While Adam was busy with the fire, Amber tried to catch some fish to eat. Sam wanted to replenish his fluids before he went to work. He doesn't want to strain himself. Amber was tired, though, but she wouldn't sit there and wait. The 2 quarreled about it. Finally, Amber had to go fishing alone. Sam was quite speechless about it. Let's just hope Amber doesn't suddenly faint on the floor from dehydration. Amber's advice is not to give her advice. You know how to survive in the wild. You know where your body's limits are. I'm here to challenge myself, so she's gonna make a move. The Tara team hasn't had any food in a long time. Lindsay is in such a hurry right now. Tara became weaker after her injury, having a hard time contributing to the team. No food for energy. If we continue like this, we will be dismissed by the doctor. Suddenly saw a big fish coming in the water. Nathan immediately went to get the net and catch the fish. Lindsay and Tara go into the water to drive the fish past. Ideas are good, but Nathan can't see what's going on in the water. Forget the fish. You can't even see the branches in the water. It doesn't matter. Nathan's just gonna throw the net. I got lucky today. At least I caught some small fish. Too bad we didn't catch a single big fish. Tara and Lindsay are still urging Nathan to catch the fish, but he didn't want to waste any more time. Not a word. Just grab the line and head somewhere else. This can make them confused. You don't know what you did wrong. The team atmosphere is getting pretty bad, and Tara was afraid to say anything. I just watched him fishing there. The mood is getting even lower. That was a crazy telegram Lindsay sent on camera. I just want to get up there and slap him. Nathan's still there, though, but it feels like the team is missing one person. Kayla looked at the monkey in the tree, but it made her cry. Although the show advised them not to eat it, but if there's a chance, it might be nice to get some meat. The most important thing now is to get the shelter ready. I've been having a hard time with those leafcutter ants. You get wet in the rain, We need a more waterproof shelter. A lot of the bark here has rotted. There's not much that can be used. It takes a lot of time and energy to do it. Keep an eye out for scorpions and spiders. Kayla felt it was too hard to be alone. I'm afraid if I get a bite of this, it's gonna lie down. The bark has to be washed in the water. The bugs lurking inside are just the thing to attract the fish. You can't have a tree bark with a leaf cutter. I hope we can sleep well once the shelter is set up. It's when the body gets weaker and weaker. If there is no food supplement, I have to quit the challenge and go home. I had to carry the bark back. It's gonna be exhausting to move back and forth a few more times. Chris has been busy collecting firewood. He didn't want to start the fire again after it had died down. Get a sawhorse for efficiency. So far, so good. It's just a lack of food. Affected by hunger, everyone was in a bad state of mind. I suddenly noticed a grasshopper up there. This is the perfect bait to use. Mallory was always looking for bait. With this, she was very confident that she would catch a fish. She thought that if she kept saying "fish god" before she went fishing, that's got to pay off. There are still many fish swimming in the water. Keep trying to go deeper. Grasshoppers are so fat, but none of the fish came to try it. This made Mallory irritable. Sam's still trying to dry the materials for the fire. Adam and Amber try to get some fish. Amber was thinking about fishing in there. Did Adam see something? Who would have thought there was a crocodile in the water? This is making Amber so excited. If we can get this crocodile up here, they won't have to worry about food for days. Adam's gonna put a noose around his mouth right now. Step carefully into the water. The noose is only a few meters from the crocodile. As soon as this was on, the crocodile started to struggle. The size is quite large. Adam used his weight to suppress it. Amber took the opportunity to hurry up and help, although the posture looks a little strange. But I'll settle for a crocodile. Adam is so excited right now.
You know undies?
Yeah!
The size is quite large. That tail alone could feed 3 people for a day. You can pick it up now. I wonder, how does this crocodile taste? Could it really be chicken? The most important thing now is to get the fire right. They don't want to eat it raw. If there's a crocodile in the back, I am more confident that this challenge can be completed. The team atmosphere is getting better and better. It weighs almost 100 pounds. It takes about 2 hours to process. Chris is so hungry. See if you can catch a crocodile or a snake. The weather is getting hotter. The body is just a little overwhelmed. This heat and humidity is really hard to withstand. I haven't gone far and I'm already a little dizzy. It's hard to imagine how we're gonna make it the rest of the way, you know? All of a sudden, like something bit you. Check back in the shelter immediately. Turns out there's a thorn stuck in my toe. The pain was so bad he couldn't get up and walk. It's up to Mallory now. The fishing, however, did not work so well. Although there are fish wandering around, but none of them took the bait. Try again and again. I finally landed on a small fish. We can use the guts as bait. She believed she would catch more fish that way. And so Mallory began fishing again. It worked better than grasshoppers. Soon another fish came in. After a lot of work, 6 fish were harvested. You can eat it whole with grilled fish. Chris and Dong see some meat to eat. The mood was quite exciting. Cooked directly on the fire. It was quite delicious to eat. All the bones are crunchy. My stomach is finally feeling a little better. Because Nathan was acting alone. The atmosphere in the group was getting awkward. He doesn't talk. He works in silence. Tara was worried about Nathan's mental state. This is not a one-man challenge. It's a team effort. Try to talk to Nathan, but people just don't listen. It made Tara's mouth smell sweet. I really want to challenge another teammate. But the thought of being hurt doesn't help, does it? The mood became more uncomfortable. Nathan thinks it's just social phobia. You don't want to talk to people when you're focused on your work. Taylor and Lindsay need Nathan's help. It's hard to survive here otherwise. With that said, Nathan's just trying to fit in. He knew what he was doing wasn't good. It's not going to change anytime soon. I hope my teammates can understand. And he really wants to do it together. Nathan is cognitively impaired. So the more people, the more silent they are. After some communication, the relationship has also eased a lot. Tara finally understands why he's acting like this. Try to make him feel more at home in the group. Nathan thought it had the advantage of being able to focus. No matter how tired he is, he can keep going. Sounds like a pretty good way to live in the wild. It's just that teamwork can be a little difficult. Lindsay thinks Nathan's a very strong guy. I'm sure it'll be fine if we just talk. Sam's still busy carrying the gators back. They felt like they were getting sunstroke. There's no fire in the shelter yet. There's no water in the pot to replenish it. The crocodile is suddenly feeling a bit of a burden. Meat must be eaten. I had to suck it up and move there. Even if it's 3 people moving back and forth, it's still too much for the body. Sam is already exhausted. His vision became blurred. We need to get some water to cool down. I'm afraid he's going to burn his body. Sam doesn't want to waste time on himself. The shelter is not far ahead. I'm going to have to move back in if I can. As soon as you get back, light a fire and boil some water. Adam will handle the alligator. Sam can finally rest for a while. You can eat crocodiles lying down for days. It's a little exciting to think about it now. Kayla's still busy perfecting the shelter. Palm leaves are definitely out of use. Can only fill it with hay. She only made a small portion and she was already exhausted. I'm not sure I can finish it today. The thought of not sleeping well again tonight. The mood is getting even lower. If only one of my teammates could help, I wouldn't be so tired myself. Adam's busy getting rid of the alligator. What you don't eat can be used as bait. The best part is definitely the tail. The meat is even better than expected. You can imagine how much he likes to exercise. If I didn't worry about eating it raw, he wants to get some sashimi right now. It's gonna take a big grill to get the alligator meat right. Looking at the meat across the screen, even though there's no seasoning, but you can feel how good the meat is. After all this hard work, Adam rewarded himself with a crocodile heart. When you bite into it, it really tastes like chicken. This alligator meat is really good. They plan to raise some back home. It's better than steak. The little days are getting better and better. Sam thinks they're the best team. I'm sure we can complete this challenge. At night, the Terra team was annoyed to death by mosquitoes. It's impossible to get a good night's sleep here. The promised flame repels mosquitoes, but that one over here isn't scared at all. There's not a single piece of flesh left intact. I feel like I've got bugs crawling on my back. I'd bring a box of bug repellent if I could. The bugs are noisier on Chris's side. I can hear a buzzing sound in my ear. In this environment, no one can get a good night's sleep. The mental state is only getting worse. You gotta look at Kayla the worst. The shelter is no protection against mosquitoes, and no one can share the attack. I'm tired and hungry now, and they have to keep waving their hands away. I don't know how long this will last. She wanted to quit the challenge and go home and get a good night's sleep. I barely made it to dawn, and he's covered in mosquitoes. There's nothing you can do with them. Emaciation visible to the naked eye. Kayla put her hopes in the bark. I hope we get a good night's sleep when the shelter is ready. Some food is urgently needed for energy. The fishing line laid out yesterday was not as good as it could have been. Not a single fish took the bait. The mood that is becoming more lost. She thought her challenge was over. Chris doesn't feel good at all. Probably got less than half an hour of sleep last night. He wanted to go home and lie down in bed. I'm crying right now. Cave Sister is quite worried about this. She doesn't know what to say. Okay, just sit there and listen to Chris. He felt very ill. I have no energy to do anything else. I think as long as I get a good night's rest, I'm sure Chris can pull himself together. No sooner had he said that than he began to vomit. Things got worse. Call the doctor right away. I hope it's just a little dehydration. After a brief examination and communication with the doctor, he didn't think Chris could stay. It could be a bug bite. What? The best thing is to go to the hospital and get some rest. The doctor gave him a shot to ease it. If things don't get better, can only force him to withdraw from the challenge. Chris didn't think he could handle it. Is that as far as this challenge can go? Adam eats meat there when they wake up. 100 pounds of meat can feed 3 people for several days. Sometimes too much meat can be annoying. Such an environment is particularly vulnerable to deterioration, so they eat as much as they can in their bellies. I'm gonna make shoes out of crocodile skin today. It's great for the back of the road. It protects your feet well. First Adam scraped the flesh off the hide, and then we have to dry it. The problem is the humidity here is too high. Worst case scenario is to put it on the fire. It doesn't smell very good. I don't know if I can fix the skin. Every day, Lindsay had to worry about dry firewood. I guess I've only collected a few in a busy day. It's so hard to keep a fire up here. Tara would have wanted to work if she hadn't hurt her hand. It's really boring being in the shelter. I just hope the team's adventure out there goes well. Lindsay and Nathan felt that everything looked the same. It's especially easy to get lost in a spin, even if you just walked by and then walked back. There was no way but to call Tara for help. Can we at least identify where the shelter is? Tara thought she was supposed to catch alligators. I wonder what if Tara gets lost, too. Just as they were meeting up to gather some material. If you find a snake on the ground, you can't let it go. Tara took a knife straight to his head. It was easy to get the meat. It had been a long time since Lindsay had seen such good meat. I was so excited I almost cried. Tara taught her how to get the meat out quickly. It's best eaten raw like the heart. There must be plenty of snakes out there to eat. It's probably easier than catching fish. The roast snake meat tastes really good. The 3 felt they could do it again. Chris didn't feel better after the injection. The doctor is very worried about his health, though he felt very ill. But there's nothing wrong with a quick check. Chris is perfectly capable of continuing the challenge. The doctor thinks it's psychological. If we can get over it, we can still stay. Chris thinks it's a quack. There was no choice but to stay and hold on. Kayla was too tired to stand up. I only get a little rest during the day. I don't know if I found any fish on the line. No amount of water made you feel better. To get a quick drink of water, she put it in the stream to cool. It was a good idea, but I was too tired to hold it steady. Kayla broke down in tears. She didn't expect the challenge to be so difficult. Maybe it's time to go home. I'm just feeling a little better here with Chris. There was a big storm. Can't do anything in the shelter. The mood was quite low. I don't want this to continue. He wants to quit the challenge and go home now. How can a teammate persuade you? Just watch Chris get out of here. In less than a week, 3 contestants have dropped out. You can only imagine how difficult the environment is here. Chris pulled out of the challenge. Mallory and Donnie were a little upset, but will continue to work hard to finish the challenge. I don't know when Kayla's fire goes out. It's still raining hard outside. There's no rekindling the fire. It's so cold now that I'm shivering. I can't stand being out there. I got some leaves to cover my body. The rain did not stop until dawn. There are so few resources here. Lindsay advises catching fish farther out. If it's the right environment, they can move the shelter there. Tara didn't exactly agree, but food is really hard to come by here. Finally decided to venture further afield to explore. Kayla felt like she was having a really hard time, thinking about dropping out of the challenge. After thinking about it, I decided to look at the fishing line first. It's not so good. They ate the bait. Just when she thought it was time to go home, a fish struggled. First big one in a long time. Kayla was so excited she cried. Go back to the shelter and fire up the fish. Although every time I think about giving up, but the smell of fish. She felt she could carry on again. Tara's team, they've been gone for I don't know how long. It's a long way to the water. Tara felt very dehydrated. He regretted coming. The body can't take it anymore. Now all I can do is crouch down and get some rest. I don't know if they'll ever find water.